organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, we'll show you how the UI used food and fun to celebrate diversity on campus, plus find out what student government candidates had to say as they went head-to-head in a presidential debate.
And another running back unavailable for Iowa football, at least for this season. Details in sports.
That's all coming your way next, right here on Daily Iowan TV.
I'm Tom Brokaw. For more than 100 years now, the University of Iowa community has been waking up to the Daily Iowan. Today, it's the largest newsroom in eastern Iowa. And now you can see the news every night on Daily Iowan TV and get it anytime worldwide at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for tuning into your Sunday edition of Daily Iowan TV. I'm John Detcott. A multicultural celebration took place on campus this weekend. Dozens of groups representing different cultures from all around the world gathered inside the Fieldhouse for the UI's Cultural Diversity Festival. Daily Iowan TV's Nick Rector was on hand to see just how diverse this university really is.
Well, that's not a dance you get to see every day. And that was the point of yesterday's Celebrating Cultural Diversity Festival, to catch a glimpse at other cultures you don't normally get to see.
It's a celebration of the difference and the unique cultures that represent our world, but also really, everyone here is local.
This cultural festival started at the UI in 1990, and it's only been getting bigger. Yesterday, 3,000 to 5,000 people showed up to the Fieldhouse to experience cultures different than their own. The point of the festival is to help others understand cultures through food, dance, music, and arts. Most people came with an empty stomach, ready to eat, because there was a lot of food to choose from. And while people were eating, there was also a multi-course meal of music to keep them entertained.
There are some performers that have done this for a long time, and everyone looks forward to seeing them, and there's always a couple of new ones.
So if you're looking to catch a peek at cultures from around the world without traveling thousands of miles, you can always just attend next year's cultural festival. Nick Rector, Daily Iowan TV.
Von Maurer's move to Coralville will go ahead as planned after a judge last week ruled against an injunction that would have temporarily delayed construction. The judge ruled the plaintiffs could not prove transactions between the retailer and the city of Coralville were illegal. The incentive package Coralville offered to Von Maurer is reportedly worth nearly $16 million. And support is growing for the controversial beef product known as pink slime. After touring a processing facility last week, several Midwestern governors, including Governor Branstad, have come out in support of the product officially called lean, finely textured beef. And on Saturday, several thousand people held a rally in Sioux City to support Beef Products Incorporated, the company that produces the meat. At least one major retailer has flip-flopped on the decision to boycott the product. Hy-Vee initially said they would not sell products that contain the beef, but have since reversed that decision after they said customers demanded it be put back on store shelves. And the first UISG presidential debate in the last 3 years happened Thursday night. Daily Iowan TV's Patrick McCravey was on hand as the presidential nominee spoke about the issues and tried to get students fired up for this year's election.
University of Iowa student government has two different parties running for office for the first time in 3 years. The I Party, which is represented by the color orange, and the Hashtag Party, represented by pink.
Hashtag Party! Woo! Go for us!
The two parties' presidential candidates squared off in a debate Thursday to let students know where their party stands. The Hashtag Party was represented by current Senator and presidential candidate Sonny Katari, and the I Party was represented by current Speaker of the Senate Nick Potabom. Katari focused on the Hashtag Party's idea of engaged scholarships, UISG-funded scholarships based on student involvement on campus.
Is that everyone has a story, and we want to know that. And that's what the scholarship is mainly focusing on, not your GPA, not need, not diversity, because there are many well-established scholarships out there, and we're really happy about that. This is a new avenue that we're trying to focus on, because it's underrepresented.
Potabom and the I Party liked the scholarships, but focused on a multitude of small issues to help students.
What's critical is that the I Party represents improving the everyday experience for students, and that came out in a lot of the examples. A lot of my answers, they were holistic, but as well as providing a simple example of what student government's going to do next year to improve the everyday experience for students, being student-centered.
No official winner of the debate was named, but each candidate got their party's views out there to attract voters, and both candidates are worthy of a round of applause. This is Patrick McRavy, Daily Iowan TV.
Student government elections will be held on April 4th and 5th. And still to come on Daily Iowan TV, find out what had these people running through campus and what it has to do with the local family in need. And in sports, we'll recap all the weekend's Hawkeye sports from the diamond to the track. And that's coming up in just a bit, but first let's go to Muriel Kone for your local weather forecast. Muriel?
Thank you, John. It was a great start up to the month of April with beautiful weather once again today, and it will definitely continue into tomorrow morning with highs in the upper 50s. We'll see a nice warm up as we go into the afternoon, and it will get even hotter in the evening with the high of 72 degrees. Looking at our extended forecast, the sun will remain throughout the week, but the temperatures will be slightly cooler with highs in the mid 60s. There will be a brief digression on Thursday with a high of 58 degrees, and heading into the weekend on Saturday, temps will inch back up to the upper 60s. So it should be a pretty nice week this week. Back to you.
Thanks, Muriel. Some UI students and staff are hoping to save a dying Iowa industry from ending up on the editing room floor. Filmmakers held auditions over the weekend for a new movie called The Farm that they hope will be the first step toward revitalizing the state's film industry. After former Governor Chet Culver closed the Iowa Film Office in 2009, filmmaking in the state stalled. But Project Comlight is a new organization producing a series of Iowa-based films in hopes of breathing new life into the industry.
I work with a lot of Iowa cast and crew. Some of the Iowans from out of state that have moved away are coming back to do the film. So it's a really great way to get the film industry revitalized here.
Officials estimate that from 1984 to 2002, the film industry generated around $120 million for the state's economy. And police are still looking for the man they say robbed a local Walgreens employee at knife point. Police say a man approached the counter at the Muscatine Avenue store around 2 o'clock on Saturday morning, pulled out a knife demanding money, and then made off with an undisclosed amount of cash. The suspect is described as a 6'4" black male between the ages of 40 and 45. And students and folks from all around Iowa City put on their running shoes Saturday morning to help raise money for families in need. The Tippie College of Business held its annual Habitat for Humanity Fun Run, marking the 5th year the two organizations have teamed up to build homes for local families. Daily Iowan TV's Stefan Duran takes a look at the steps the groups are taking as they race towards their fundraising finish line.
Here at the University of Iowa, many student-led groups team up with organizations around Iowa City and the surrounding areas to help support and raise money for helpful causes. This is the 5th year that Tippie Build has been hosting the Habitat for Humanity 5K Fun Run. This organization is led by volunteer students from the Tippie College of Business. When hosting events with organizations such as Habitat for Humanity, Tippie Build students come together to take on all the responsibilities the event has to offer.
And we have people from a lot of the major student orgs. I think there's about 10 to 12 of us. And so each of us are there representing our student org and getting the information to also then provide volunteers and fundraising efforts.
Their partnership with Habitat for Humanity has allowed Tippie Build to become the largest community service project in the College of Business, raising more than $200,000. As the organization grows, the committee leaders continue to accomplish the tasks they planned for in the fall.
We have 3 goals for Tippie Build: to build community within the College of Business. So we have students from all majors, all student orgs, anybody that's in the College of Business or on track to be in the College of Business can participate. And then we also are trying to raise $50,000 for Iowa Valley Habitat for Humanity, and then we build a home.
With this run finishing out strong this year, the Tippie Build Committee will continue to plan for future events to further exceed their fundraising goals. Stefan Duran, Daily Iowan TV.
More than 80 people participated in Saturday's fun run, helping the group get closer to their $50,000 fundraising goal. And now Daily Iowan TV's Ian Martin is here for your look at Hawkeye sports.
Iowa freshman running back Jordan Canzeri will be out the entire 2012 season in all likelihood after an ACL tear. Jordan's father, Brian Canzeri, told Scout.com on Friday that his son suffered the injury during a spring practice last week. The sophomore-to-be will undergo surgery this week and will probably redshirt the 2012 season to save eligibility. Right now, this leaves just 3 possibilities for Iowa at running backs: sophomores Damon Bullock and DeAndre Johnson, as well as incoming freshman Greg Garman. On to the spring sports, the Iowa softball team now has a winning record in Big Ten play after sweeping a weekend series against Illinois. Let's play 2 in Iowa City. It was scoreless until the 4th inning when 3 straight walks meant bases loaded for Iowa, who didn't even have a hit yet at this point, and then the first score of the game. Junior Johnny Dowling had a 2 RBI double. Michelle Zeller would eventually score on the play, the third runner coming home on the play on that throwing error by Illinois. It's 3-0 Iowa in the fourth. Next, Ashley Akers has an RBI single, and Dowling scores 4-0 Iowa. Finally, an RBI triple by Megan Blank. The freshman getting all the way to third, easily scoring Akers. 5-0 Iowa and a 5-run fourth for Iowa. That's all the runs they would need. Even in the next game, Iowa allowed just 2 runs from the Illini all day, mercy ruling the visitors in the second game. Melanie Gladden had 1 hit, but that 1 hit had 3 RBI. However, the player of the game was on defense in the second game, pitcher Chelsea Lyon, who gave up just 3 hits in a complete game for the Hawkeyes. That inning early ending from Saturday apparently angered the softball gods, though, as the Hawkeyes had to play 3 extra ones to sweep on Sunday. Iowa scored the only run of the game in the 10th on a bases-loaded walk of Melanie Gladden, which scored Katie Kime from third. The Hawkeyes still below 500 overall, but move into third in the Big Ten with a 4-2 conference record after the sweep. Baseball was on their first Big Ten road trip of the season, and for better or worse, the story of the weekend was defense. First game on Friday, Iowa out-hit the home team 14-10, but it was not enough. The Hawkeyes kept pace. No defense in this one. The game was tied at 7 until the 7th when Indiana scored 3 runs. Game 2, though, manager Jack Dahm won his 200th game as the Iowa manager. Congratulations to him. Despite his team being out-hit, the Hoosiers had 8 base knocks to Iowa's 7, but defense once again, 3 errors by Indiana, allowing some extra Iowa runs. Iowa's Matt Dermody pitched 7 innings, giving up just 4 hits, a routine gem for him. Rubber match was today in Bloomington, and the Hawkeyes downed 10-5, allowed 10 consecutive runs by the Hoosiers. Iowa had a 5-0 lead, but Indiana tied the game in the 5th and scored 4 runs in the 7th to pull away. Iowa now at 500 in Big Ten play. A few other teams were in action this weekend as well. Track and field opened its outdoor season in Arkansas at the Arkansas Spring Invitational. That was in Fayetteville. 2 first places on the men's side, Jeff Doty and Matt Byers winning a track and field event respectively. Doty in the 1,500-meter race, Byers in the javelin. Meanwhile, a surprising first place finish by the women's 1,600-meter relay team. The foursome at a time of 3 minutes, 38 seconds. 4th best time in that event in school history. Men's golf was the second out of 12 teams this weekend at the LSU Invitational, with the Tigers taking the title. Iowa lost by just 2 strokes, but clearly Iowa in a class with just LSU at the tournament as one of just 2 schools finishing under par. Last but not least, women's rowing won 1 of 4 races yesterday at the San Diego Crew Classic, and men's tennis lost both of its matches this weekend, falling to Penn State and number 2 ranked Ohio State by a combined score of 14-2. No shame in losing to the Buckeyes, though. They're an absolute powerhouse of men's tennis. They've won 84 straight Big Ten matches. That's your weekly recap of every single Iowa team that played this past weekend, home or away. Back to the desk, John.
Thanks, Ian. And now let's take a look at some of the top headlines from across the globe. Demonstrators in Turkey took to the streets on Sunday in a rare display of support for Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Al-Assad is accused of killing thousands of his own people since protests against the regime started nearly a year ago. U.S. officials have said they plan to double their financial support of the opposition. And voters in Myanmar took the polls Sunday to cast their ballot in a historic parliamentary election. The country has been under military rule for nearly half a century, and officials said that although there are not enough open seats to swing the balance of power, the election marks an important shift toward democracy. And a 2-year-old boy is back with his family today after firefighters in China rescued the toddler from an abandoned well. The nearly 40-foot well was so small the workers had to pump in air so the boy could breathe. After several failed attempts, workers got the boy out of the well, after which he was sent to a nearby hospital for treatment. And take a look at this. A group of trick shot artists recently made what they say is the first ever basketball shot from a moving blimp. The ball and hoop are both regulation size, and they used a Goodyear blimp to get the shooter airborne. The trick shot group is called Dude Perfect, and the long-range floater was featured in their 100th video. And only with Daily Iowa TV can you get a sneak preview of tomorrow's print edition of the Daily Iowan. Read about why Johnson County is the troubling exception as child abuse cases decline statewide. Plus, following a recent assault, the Daily Iowan will have all you need to know about staying safe when subleasing an apartment. And that'll do it for this edition of Daily Iowa TV. Check us out at the same time tomorrow or anytime online at dailyiowan.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.